When I saw my daughter-in-law throw my granddaughter's baby blanket into the trash, my heart stopped. That blanket wasn't just a piece of fabric. It was the only thing left that connected me to my late daughter, the woman I lost long before my granddaughter was even born. And when I picked it up, confused and trembling, I noticed something heavy tucked inside the folds. That's when I looked closer. And what I found inside that blanket changed everything I thought I knew about my family. Tell me honestly, if you discovered a dark secret like that, would you keep it quiet or expose the truth, no matter the cost? It started a few months ago, right after I moved in with my son and his wife, Lily. I never wanted to be that mother-in-law who overstayed her welcome, but after my husband passed away and my health began to decline, my son insisted I come live with them. He said, "Mom, it'll be easier this way. We'll all help each other." He made it sound simple and loving, but I could already sense the tension in Lily's eyes the moment I rolled my suitcase through their doorway. She was polite enough, sure, but there was something about the way she looked at me, like I was an uninvited guest rather than family. I tried to brush it off. After all, she was juggling work, motherhood, and a house to run. I told myself she just needed time to adjust. My granddaughter, little Emily, was the light of my life. She was 5 years old, sweet, curious, always asking me to tell her bedtime stories about her angel aunt, my daughter Anna, who had passed away 10 years earlier in a car accident. Emily never met her, of course, but she loved hearing about her. And that's where the baby blanket came in. It was Anna's blanket when she was a baby, soft yellow with tiny blue flowers embroidered by my own hands. When Emily was born, I gave it to Lily as a gift, telling her, "This blanket has love stitched into every corner. Keep it safe for her." Lily smiled, thanked me, and tucked it away. Or so I thought. Things started to go downhill slowly. Lily became distant, snappy even. If I tried to help with Emily's lunch, she'd say, "Oh, it's fine, I've got it." If I folded laundry, she'd refold it afterward. Every small gesture I made was somehow wrong in her eyes. I felt like a burden, no matter how hard I tried to fit in. My son, Mark, was always working long hours, so he didn't see the small, cutting remarks or the looks Lily gave me behind his back. I thought I could endure it quietly for Emily's sake. But everything changed one ordinary Tuesday morning. I was in the kitchen making tea when I saw Lily walk past the back door holding something in her hands. The morning light hit just right, and I recognized it instantly. The yellow blanket. My heart leapt. I thought maybe she was airing it out or washing it. But then she opened the trash bin outside and threw it in. Just like that. No hesitation. No second thought. I froze. I told myself I must have seen it wrong. But when she went back inside, I rushed out and lifted the lid. There it was, lying on top of coffee grounds and food scraps. My hands shook as I pulled it out. Why would she throw this away? I whispered to myself. That's when I felt it, something hard and lumpy inside the folded fabric. My first thought was that maybe Emily had hidden one of her toys in there. I opened it carefully, and my breath caught in my throat. Inside the blanket, tucked deep into one of its folds, was a small envelope. My name was written on it, in my daughter Anna's handwriting. I almost dropped it. My knees felt weak. Anna had been gone for years. How could this be? The envelope was old and slightly yellowed, like it had been hidden away for a long time. My fingers trembled as I slid it open. Inside was a letter. The words were faded but legible. It started with, "Mom, if you're reading this, something must have gone wrong." My heart pounded as I read on. She talked about someone she loved, a man she said she wasn't supposed to be with. She wrote, "He promised me we'd build a future together, but he's married. He says he'll leave her, but I'm scared." My vision blurred as tears filled my eyes. Anna had never told me any of this. Then came the line that shattered me. "If anything happens to me, please make sure the truth comes out. I can't trust him anymore." I could barely breathe. I reread the letter over and over, my mind spinning. A married man. Anna's accident suddenly didn't feel like an accident anymore. My body went cold as a thought crept into my mind. What if someone had something to do with it? I sat there on the porch for what felt like hours, staring at that piece of paper. Finally, I folded it back up and went inside. Lily was sitting at the table on her phone, acting casual. I said softly, "Lily, I found something you threw away." She looked up, her face instantly tensing. "What are you talking about?" I held up the blanket. "Why did you throw this out?" Her face went pale for a split second before she forced a smile. "Oh, that old thing. It was stained, Mom. I was just cleaning out Emily's stuff." Her tone was too calm, too rehearsed. I knew she was lying. "And the letter?" I asked, watching her eyes widen. "What letter?" she said, pretending to be confused. I held it up, trembling. "This one. From Anna." She froze. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something but couldn't. Then she quickly stood up and said, "I don't know what you're talking about," before walking away. That's when I knew. She was hiding something. I couldn't shake the feeling that Lily knew exactly what that letter was, and more importantly, who Anna's married man might have been. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the letter's words in my head, trying to piece together clues. Anna's accident had happened on a rainy night after she left a friend's house. They said she lost control of her car on a slippery road. But what if she wasn't alone that night? What if she met someone before it happened? The next day, I decided to confront Mark. When he came home from work, I told him I needed to talk privately. I showed him the letter. He read it silently, his brow furrowed. "Mom, this is crazy," he said finally. "That was 10 years ago. You can't start digging this up again." I looked at him hurt. "Mark, this is your sister. Don't you want to know the truth?" He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Of course I do, but maybe she was just confused. Maybe it was nothing." But I could see something in his eyes. A flicker of guilt or fear. I couldn't tell which. Over the next few days, the tension in the house thickened. Lily avoided me completely. She'd whisper to Mark behind closed doors, and when I entered a room, they'd stop talking. I knew they were discussing me. Then one afternoon, while Lily was out shopping and Mark was at work, I went into their study. I know it wasn't right, but I felt desperate for answers. I opened the desk drawer, and there, beneath a pile of papers, I found another letter. This one wasn't from Anna, but addressed to her, and when I saw the handwriting, my blood ran cold. It was Mark's. I sat down and read it. "Anna, I can't do this anymore," it began. "Lily suspects something. I never meant to hurt anyone, but we have to stop seeing each other. I'll always love you, but I can't destroy my family." My hands shook violently. My son. My own son had been the married man Anna wrote about. I felt sick. My chest ached as I realized the full weight of it. Anna's accident. The guilt that must have consumed her. The pain she carried alone. And now, all these years later, Lily must have found out. That's why she threw away the blanket. She wanted to erase every trace of Anna from our lives. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Should I confront them both and risk destroying my family completely? Or keep quiet and live with this unbearable truth? Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to pause and tell me. If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you expose your own son to the truth, even if it tore your family apart? I couldn't keep it in any longer. That night, I waited until Emily was asleep. Mark and Lily were in the living room, arguing in hushed tones. I stepped in, holding both letters in my hand. "We need to talk," I said firmly. Mark looked startled, Lily went pale. I placed the letters on the table. "You both owe me an explanation." Silence. Then, finally, Lily broke down. "I found the letter years ago," she confessed. "I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't. When I realized it was Mark, I almost left him." Tears streamed down her face. Mark just sat there staring at the floor. "Anna loved you," I whispered to him, my voice trembling. "She trusted you." He buried his face in his hands. "I didn't mean for any of it to happen, Mom," he said, voice cracking. "It was a mistake. I was young and stupid. She wanted me to leave Lily, and I couldn't. She said she was done, and then she died that night. I swear I didn't hurt her." I wanted to believe him, but the weight of betrayal crushed me. My son had broken his sister's heart, hidden it all, and married the woman sitting across from me. And now they had a child, an innocent little girl who had no idea of the darkness behind her family. In the days that followed, the house was filled with silence. Mark barely spoke to me. Lily avoided eye contact. I thought about leaving, but then I looked at Emily and I couldn't. She was the only light left in this whole mess. One afternoon, I sat her on my lap and told her a story, not about betrayal, but about forgiveness. She listened, wide-eyed, clutching that same yellow blanket I had washed and sewn back together. I decided then that Emily deserved better than secrets and lies. Eventually, I told Mark that if he truly wanted redemption, he needed to face his past. Not by running, but by honoring his sister's memory. We visited Anna's grave together. He cried for hours, whispering apologies I knew she'd never hear. But maybe, just maybe, she'd forgive him somewhere beyond this world. As for Lily, she started therapy, trying to untangle her resentment and grief. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Now, years later, I still keep that blanket folded neatly in a box. It's more than a keepsake. It's a reminder that secrets buried in the dark always find their way to the light. Families can be messy, broken even, but truth, no matter how painful, is the only thing that can set us free. If you were on my side through all this, like this video, subscribe for more real stories like mine, and share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done if you found out a secret like that? I'll see you all in the next story.